The shrill alarm of the heart monitor tore through the sterile stillness of the pediatric. "I see you." 12-year-old Leela Torres's vital signs plummeted into the red, slipping past the point of recovery. Dr. Hannah Green froze as the numbers on the glowing screen painted a devastating picture. Respiratory collapse. Cardiac arrest imminent. In 2 decades of medicine, she had calculated grim odds more times than she could count. By every protocol, Lila had no more than 3 minutes left. And yet, what happened next would challenge everything Dr. Green and her team thought they knew about healing, about hope, and about the invisible threads that tether one fragile life to another. For 8 months, Lila had been waging war with a rare autoimmune disease that betrayed her from within. The hospital had become her home, her body a battlefield. Her parents, Alina and Gabriel, had spent their savings, their strength, and nearly their faith as they watched their bright, mischievous daughter wither in a bed surrounded by machines. Through all of it, there was one constant. Scout, a golden retriever who had been Lila's companion since she was 5, wasn't just a pet. He was her shadow, her pillow, her playmate, and most of all her reason to keep smiling on days when her body refused to cooperate. The ICU had strict rules. No animals, not in that fragile environment. But weeks before that night, Dr. Green had witnessed something so unusual it lingered in her mind like a secret. Every time Scout visited under special permission, Lila's condition shifted. Her heart rate steadied, her breathing regulated, her pain dulled. Nurses whispered among themselves about it, how her appetite returned after he curled up beside her, how her color brightened, how the monitors seemed to calm when his golden head rested on her mattress. It was as though the dog carried a force medicine couldn't quantify, some quiet, unshakable power. That Tuesday evening, Leela's body gave out. Her lungs rattled, her heart faltered, monitors shrieked warnings of a child slipping away. Alina and Gabriel looked at one another with hollow eyes. And then, with the kind of courage born of desperation, they broke the rules. They smuggled Scout into the ICU. The retriever padded into the room as if he already knew why he'd been brought there. His tail didn't wag. His usual playfulness was gone, replaced by a grave stillness. Step by careful step, he approached the bed where his girl lay pale and still beneath the wires. The medical staff stiffened. Policies were policies, and this one was ironclad. But in that instant, Dr. Green made the decision that would change her career. She allowed Scout to stay. Sometimes compassion, she told herself later, must outrank protocol. What unfolded would become a story retold in hushed voices in break rooms and written about in journals that couldn't quite explain it. Scout climbed onto his hind legs, placing his paws on the edge of the bed. His eyes, dark and wet, locked on Lila's face. He whimpered softly, a sound that cut through the electronic chaos. Then, in a moment that defied reason, he began to breathe. Deep, rhythmic breaths. In and out, in perfect sync with the jagged, faltering rhythm of the girl's failing lungs. And somehow, impossibly, Lila's breathing shifted. Her gasps slowed. Her oxygen levels, which had been plummeting, began to inch upward. The heart monitor still cried danger, but the numbers changed, steadying, then rising. Nurses exchanged glances, their hands frozen above syringes and tubes. Dr. Green would later describe the moment as otherworldly. The dog wasn't just near his girl, he was guiding her. With each rise and fall of his chest, it was as though Scout was lending her his own life force, showing her how to breathe again. For 47 minutes, he did not move. His chest rose and fell in deliberate rhythm, his gaze never breaking from hers. Slowly, the alarms grew quieter, the machines steadying as if lulled into calm. The color returned to Leela's cheeks, her eyes flickered open. For the first time in weeks, she was awake. The doctors didn't believe it at first. Green ordered test after test, convinced the monitors were faulty, but each result confirmed the impossible. Lila wasn't only stable, she was improving. Her organ function rallied, her pain decreased, and her blood work began to suggest the autoimmune storm was retreating. And then, when his work was done, Scout collapsed at the side of the bed, his chest heaving with exhaustion. Over the following weeks, Leela's recovery stunned every physician. Day by day, she grew stronger, But as she healed, Scout weakened. It was as though he had poured every last drop of himself into saving her. Once bounding strides slowed, his breaths grew labored. 3 weeks later, Scout lay on a soft blanket, surrounded by Elena Gabriel, Dr. Green. His golden fur shimmered weakly in the sunlight filtering through the hospital window. Lila, strong enough now to sit upright, held his paw in both hands. With one final sigh, Scout slipped away. Tears filled the room, but no one could deny what they had witnessed. The retriever had given something no textbook could explain. His life for hers. Today Lila is a healthy teenager. She carries the memory of her guardian angel everywhere she goes. The dog who taught her to breathe again when medicine had surrendered. Dr. Hannah Green continues to tell the story, though not in lectures about biology or statistics. She calls it a lesson in humility, in recognizing that not all miracles are meant to be dissected. Some are meant to be lived, felt, and carried forward. And every time Leela laughs, every time she runs, she is proof that sometimes love itself can heal in ways science has no language for.